Welcome to the weekly MMO news from MMORPG.gg. Final Fantasy XIV's fourth expansion, Endwalker, is finally here. Server congestion issues still persists, so all players with active subs have got a week of game time for free to compensate for the issues. Despite the issues, the game broke its own Steam record for concurrent players with 95,150 players playing the game during the early access weekend. Everquest also had a major release this week as the game released its 28th expansion, Terror of Luclin. The expansion sends players back to the moon of Luclin that was first introduced back in 2001 in EQ's third expansion titled Shadows of Luclin. The expansion will add 7 new zones with new quests, missions, raids, spells, and abilities. The level cap is also being increased to 120. A title that won't see its release this year is Star Wars: The Old Republic's expansion, Legacy of the Sith, which was originally set to be released on December 14th, but was pushed back until February 15th to allow for some further testing. The majority of the content and features from the expansion is back on the SWTOr public test realm as the devs work with player feedback to give the expansion that last bit of polish. SWTOr players should still have plenty to do until launch as the game is celebrating its 10-year anniversary with events lasting well into the new year. Legacy of the Sith is not the only thing that is happening in mid-February as the launch date for Smilegate's and Amazon Games' Lost Ark was announced during the Game Awards. The MMORPG will be released on February 11th with a 3-day head start for owners of the Founders Pack, starting on February 8th. A launch reveal trailer was also dropped during the awards. 2022 also looks like it might be a big year for Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen. In the latest Pantheon developer live stream we got an in-depth look at character models, weapons and environments and how they look with the new HD rendering pipeline in Unity HD. On the topic of moving from 2021 to 2022 in terms of the development of Pantheon, Creative Director Chris Perkins said that 2021 has been about weathering the storm to get Pantheon to its current HDRP state and that the word to describe Pantheon in 2022 is imminence. The Elder Scrolls Online has also laid out their plans for 2022. Matt Fieror and the ESO development team shared their end-of-year retrospective on the ESO site revealing that the in-game storyline and events in 2022 will take a shift away from end-of-the-world invasion themes to a traditional Elder Scrolls story of political intrigue and factional infighting, with a focus on one of ESO's in-game races that have yet to have had a full cultural and historical deep dive. Raf Koster and his team at Playable Worlds also had a bit of news regarding their upcoming MMO. In a recent post on Discord, a small piece of concept art for the MMO was shared along with the announcement that there would be no announcement of the game until next year. Speaking of mystery MMOs, Gamigo has been dropping hints about their new MMO over the last few weeks, and has now shared a website named uncertainfolder.com with the fans. On the site, there is a countdown with currently 2 days left and the text, "A world torn apart, a new MMO coming soon." Listen to the story unfold. Despite actually using the word MMO or MMORPG in the press release, it looks like Nexon is also working on a new MMO with Games Workshop set in the Warhammer universe, or as they put it, a new PvE social multiplayer with next-generation RPG and social features. Not much more is detailed about the upcoming Warhammer title except that it looks like it will be released for PC, console, and mobile, so we might be looking at some type of cross-platform game. The team at Artificial Core returned this week with an update for their isometric cyberpunk MMORPG Corepunk. The bad news is that the studio is behind schedule. The good news is that significant progress is being made according to the developers. Corepunk is still in late alpha, getting close to beta moving into 2022, and much of December will be spent running performance tests on infrastructure to find bugs and bottlenecks. The rest of the winter season will be spent polishing the game, and fans can expect some more news about beta dates at the end of spring. Neverwinter's Module 22 was released this week on the game's preview server, revealing that fans are in store for yet another round of recycled content and reworked systems. This time around it was the refinement and enchantment systems that got a rework, and as you might expect the player base was not happy with the lack of content and yet another system rework. Another MMO that has not been doing so hot at the moment is Amazon's New World. After weeks of seeing the population declining since launch, the numbers of concurrent players in New World are starting to stabilize with peaks just under the 130,000 mark. It's a big difference from the 900k plus peaks we saw at launch. To deal with the decline, New World saw its first server merge happen last week. The first servers to merge were the European Mardi and Britia servers. That was all the MMO news for this week. Head over to MMORPG.gg for daily MMO news.